I'm here. I'm not gonna do too long of an intro and explain what I have been doing and why I've been gone. I'll give a brief summary though, since a lot has happened. Shit got a little crazy, and I will briefly explain that right now. So, in the sequence of events, first thing that I should briefly mention is that me and Tanner actually got a puppy. His name is Sochi, and yes, one, I didn't know that was a name. Two, yes, it is typically a girl name, but Sochi is in fact a boy. Three, I do understand also that that is not how you pronounce the name. I will put how you spell the name right here. So don't come for me. Me and Tanner both know that is not how you pronounce the name, but Sochi just rolls off the tongue. But he is a Greyhound and Chihuahua mix. Very hyper, very excited, has dirt on his nose. Like if you were to Google cartoon dog, this is exactly the dog that would pop up. Like he does all of the cartoon basic things that dogs do, but he's just absolutely the cutest thing in the world. Loves being outside. Yeah, not even a year old. This is our dog. So this is what happened a little over a month ago. Almost immediately right after that, Tanner tested positive for COVID. I don't know why I said it like that. Tested positive for COVID. And since I live with him, I got sick as well. And if you guys are interested in a video about that, I will, please let me know, and I will explain how that happened, what it felt like, and what we basically did during that time and how we survived. If you guys are interested in that, because me and Tanner both, in fact, indeed had it, the infamous COVID-19. We are going to jump into the video that I have prepared for today. I've never actually told my experience with MLMs. I've briefly explained them in other videos. So let's start from the very beginning, when your girl was an itty bitty little child. My mother was actually in an MLM, and I didn't know, obviously, because when this happened, I was probably like 7 years old or something, and she stopped doing it like couple years ago. I know you're probably all wondering which one. It's this one called Party Light. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of it, but my mother was in Party Light. I do not know her status. I don't know the ranks in Party Light. I don't know any of that jazz. First, I want to say that I do not know what rank she was, if she recruited people or what. Some people, when they hear about like MLMs and they finally realize that a family member, or like their mom or dad or whatever, was in an MLM, you kind of want to justify it in your own mind. And I know for me, I kind of did that as well, but I didn't realize that it was an MLM until, truthfully, like this year, until I started getting into it. Let me explain what Party Light is too. So Party Light is a candle company. It's a candle MLM, and they sell different types of candles and those like wax things, where you have like a glass and you put wax in there, and then I don't know. They sell those. They sell like candle decor, so like candle holders and like all those fancy decorations. So they sell those. And I remember growing up being like, this shit is cool, because my mom would get that good shit, you know what I'm saying? She would always bring out those bomb ass skeleton looking cat and fish and dog Party Light holders for Halloween, and she would spook up the house and it would look dope as fuck. I remember like for every occasion she had some Party Light decor to go with it. Any theme that you can think of, she had something. And I remember too, which looking back now was a little scary, but again, I did not really ask much about this for my mother or look too much into it, because I'm scared of the answer. I remember there was a closet in my house that was filled, I'm telling you, like filled with Party Light stuff. Like I wish I could tell you like how filled it was. And it wasn't just that closet. I remember that closet had Party Light stuff. There was another small closet where we kept like wrapping paper and stuff that had a couple more boxes in there. And then in my mom's closet, there was more boxes up, you know, on the highest shelf. So there was a lot of party light in my house that I did not know was connected to a multi-level marketing company. I remember talking to her briefly about it, and she said, like, you know, she never felt really pressured to buy stuff. She said she would only buy things if she wanted to, and she said that she made decent money from it, and she said it just got too much and that she had to quit. And she said if she had the time now, she would do it again because she got decent pay for it, which I understand. I don't know, again, I don't know what rank, or if she had like people under, you know, her little branch. I don't know. I genuinely do not know, but she said she made decent money from it and she liked the stuff. And I know from my personal experience, the stuff wasn't like super bad, and that might just be me trying to justify something that I've kind of been living in for a little bit. With that being said, I of course do not agree with MLMs still. I don't care if the products are the best thing on the entire planet Earth. If God himself is not on it himself, I do not care. I still do not agree with the business structure and the morality of MLMs, and I never will. After I found that out, I remember I went on the Anti-MLM subreddit and I kept hearing stuff about Norwex. I'm not sure which one it is and I don't really care. They sell like cleaning products, I'm pretty sure, and what I know them from is they have like microfiber towels or whatever. I remember seeing that on the Anti-MLM subreddit and I was like, hold on a minute. And I remember growing up, my mom would give us these reusable makeup wipes to take off our makeup. And I remember they worked really well, and it was nice to just have a towel to dirty it up without, you know, your mom yelling at you for dirtying it up. So you can just kind of get all of your makeup on that. Lo and behold, it was Norwex. Yeah, I just found that out recently, that was what I had been using growing up to take my makeup off, was an MLM microfiber product. So let's fast forward a little bit. 17 or 18-year-old Cameron. I remember this girl posted something on Instagram, and mind you, you know, when you like, you know, when you're in high school or whatever, and you kind of just follow people because they go to the same school or you know the same people, but you don't ever actually talk to them, and you're like, well, how do I know them? But also when someone mentions them, you're like, oh yeah, that person. You know what I'm talking about? That's who this girl was. Someone I never had interacted with at school or in real life, but for some reason, me and her followed each other on Instagram in 2017. See that she posts something on her Instagram story saying, how would you like to make, and I remember it being a hefty number too. It was like in the thousands, and I was like, oh fuck, like I want to make that much money. And I messaged her myself. She was like, message me if you want more information. And I was just gonna get more information about it. I never planned for it to go any further, but it happened, and we can only look back and learn from our mistakes, right? I messaged her and I was like, I want to know more about this, yada yada yada. You guys know how it goes. She told me about it and I was like, okay. Like, she was being kind of vague about it still, and I remember still being very like confused as to like what it was, because I don't think she still had even told me what the name of the company was. And I was like, okay. So she told me, she was like, oh, if you want more info, like we can meet up and I can tell you about it. And I was like, okay, sure. So we met up at a local Starbucks, and I remember going there and she had brought her boyfriend, and I was like, okay, because he was in it too. But I remember he showed up too, and I was like kind of uncomfortable because she didn't tell me that he was gonna be there too, but I was like, okay, whatever. So I went and they were talking about it, and they finally told me it was for Primerica. I remember thinking, because Primerica is a insurance MLM, and I remember being like, I don't know jack shit about insurance. why should I sell it? And I remember telling them that too. I was like, okay, I genuinely do not know anything about insurance. Like, I'm 17 years old and I like have like a 2.01 GPA and I barely passed high school and I work at a Dairy Queen. I don't know anything about insurance. And they're like, that's fine, you don't need to. We're gonna tell you like your initial down payment is for your training so that you can actually learn about that stuff and yada yada yada. So it sounded kind of legit and I was like, okay, whatever. But I'm the type of person where if this will get you to shut up, like I will do it. You know what I mean? So they just like, and I felt kind of really intimidated because they were both like, there's two of them and they were kind of just like, it's really easy and like blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I don't know what to do. So like now I kind of make it a rule for myself where if I have to go through any like business venture or financial aid kind of venture, I have to bring someone with me because I will not understand what the person is talking about. And that's exactly what happened when I went to this Primerica like meeting thing. I had no idea what she was talking about and I was like, okay. And then eventually the conversation somehow led, because I remember I was like, I'm not buying this. I was like, I don't want to get into this. I don't know. I wasn't into it. The conversation somehow went to, okay, so are you gonna pay the $100? And I was like, okay. They were like, do you have the money right now? And I was like, yeah, I have the money, but I don't really know. And they were like trying to talk me into it still. And eventually I gave them the $100. Luckily, I've never gotten charged again after that initial payment. We have one more story, and this is kind of our main one that kind of shows you the experience that I've had recently with multi-level marketing. This actually happened this year and I was contemplating whether I wanted to talk about this or not, but I think a decent amount of time has passed in order for me to discuss it. But basically when I started getting really into like this anti-MLM stuff, I wasn't posting about it on my social media yet, but I was still doing some research and getting some insight on what exactly is this whole MLM scheme. I remember seeing a couple girls from my high school that I followed were in some of the MLM companies that I would see talk about, these YouTube videos that I would watch, and I was like, okay, interesting. And then specifically two separate girls messaged me. One girl messaged me, she was from Arbonne. She asked me to join a Zoom call or something about the 30 days to healthy living, or a Zoom call about something for Arbonne. I asked her like, what is Arbonne? Trying to get some info about it, and she told me what it was, you know, cruelty-free, whatever, nutrition stuff. I was like, so what makes Arbonne better than any other, you know, vegan, cruelty-free nutritional brand out there? She told me that they ban over like 8,000 or like 5,000 ingredients that they like never use. And I was like, so what does that mean? And then she didn't respond. Literally, I just went on the Arbonne page. I looked up something, a product, I think it was like a fizz stick or like a protein shake. I think I looked up a protein shake. And I told her, I was like, hey, there's this thing right here that says that these statements were not approved or looked over by the Federal Drug Administration. She didn't respond again, and I was like, I'm not trying to be rude or anything. I'm just telling you, like, this is what I found. Doing a little bit more research probably wouldn't hurt anyone. You know, no harm, no foul. Like, just do a little bit more research. And then she never responded again. And I remember after that happened, her upline actually made a video on her Instagram, and she said why Arbonne isn't a pyramid scheme, which I never said that to the girl, but I knew it was about that because, you know, it was just the timing, you know? Like, I tell this girl's downline, like, none of this stuff has been approved or looked over by the FDA. And then the next day, her upline makes a video about why Arbonne isn't a pyramid scheme. Very weird experience, but the calmest one that I've had. I don't know if I want to do specifically. I'm not gonna read the specific messages or anything like that about this next story, but I will give a very detailed summary of it, because it is very likely that this person or someone could tell this person, because this is someone also that went to my high school, and this girl was in Monet. This was a very interesting conversation, one of the most interesting conversations I've had about multi-level marketing. But I remember she messaged me and asked me if I wanted to take like a hair quiz or something to find out what products are best for me, and I did not respond. And then the next day she messaged me again and she said, hey, did you look over like the products and you find anything that you like? I said like, no, I'm not interested. Asking her like what she works for. She told me what it was, and I was trying to ask her information about the specifics of her job. I was trying to ask her information about, you know, like, okay, like how do you make money from that? She told me like, oh, I sell Monet and blah blah blah, and I was like, okay, how do you make money from that? How does that work? Blah blah blah. And she told me that she was in like the 4th or 5th rank up or something. And that she got to there within the last like 6 months. So she'd gotten there like pretty quickly. Anyways, long story short, this was going back and forth of me being like, okay, that doesn't make really a lot of sense, and asking genuine financial questions that would concern anybody if they were in a business venture like this. One thing led to another. She was like, so you recruit one person and these people, and then blah blah blah, kind of telling me about the triangle structure. And so I said like a pyramid, and I didn't say pyramid scheme, I just said like a pyramid. And then she was like, oh, a pyramid scheme, haha, that's not what this is. This is not your mom's Avon and Mary Kay, blah blah blah, this is so different. And I was like, okay, like I'm not trying to pick a fight or anything, but if you want more information about like what exactly Monet is, like I have a YouTube channel where I kind of talk about this, because at this point I think I had already made like 2 videos about MLMs, or you can watch this video. Here's some links, blah blah blah, like if you have concerns about it, but like, you know, I just want you to make sure that you know what you're doing. And she replies to me with this very nasty message, and it kind of gets worse as time goes on, because she messaged me and she was like, I'm very educated, like I'm so sorry that you were misinformed in the past, you need to go like educate yourself, basically was the summary of this, the plot of her message for me. I did not respond to that. And the next day, which I'm surprised she didn't like block me at this point, or like block me like immediately after that, because I was still following her. So I went to bed, good night's sleep, and I woke up to a very long Instagram story of her talking about our conversation. She was talking about it instantly, and I remember her downline also posted a screenshot of their phone conversation from the night that happened, and it was like 2 hours long, and she was like, this thing, like Monet builds friendships, and I just know that they were talking about me during that entire time. In that, she mentioned that she had watched my March 2020 update video where I had talked about how I lost my job, or how I was basically unemployed due to the coronavirus, and due that we had to reduce our staff at my work. And she was making fun of that. She said, I watched this girl's YouTube channel because I wanted to see like, okay, like who even is she? And I went to this girl's YouTube channel, and she doesn't even have a freaking job. Like, she says that she does Instacart, like, okay, do what you gotta do for money, but don't come at me when you don't even have a freaking job. let that sit with you for a little bit. Seeing that, I initially was hurt because of the state of the reason why I was not working, because of something out of my control, and because lots of people have it way worse than me. And imagine if that was said to those people. I made that YouTube video to kind of just give an update to the people that watch my channel, and just to let them know, like, hey, this thing that's going on right now, like, it's affecting me too, and you're not alone, because a lot of people didn't work during this whole thing and are still not working because of this whole thing. All I can say about that is I hope that these people will just like learn and kind of open their eyes and stop seeing the world in like one specific way. Let's all just try to spread love, and hopefully they understand what will truly make them rich in life. And it's not gonna be this MLM. It's not gonna be Arbonne or Monet or whatever. That's just my opinion. Take it or leave it, love it or hate it. I think that it would just be a lot easier if we all just focused on treating people with kindness instead of trying to find a way for us to be better than them. You know what I mean? And that goes into all aspects of life. But again, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so. As always, thanks for watching.